If you're building an AI startup right now, you know the world is moving at an absolutely insane speed. So we're going to cut through all the noise. This is your distilled guide to the AI landscape for 2025, and it's packed with insights from the top VCs and tech leaders who are literally defining what comes next.
And this quote from Elad Gil just perfectly frames our whole conversation today. I mean, think about it. Despite all the hype, all the chatter, the real truth is we are just at the very, very beginning of this massive wave. The biggest changes, they're still coming.
All right, so to really understand where we're going, we've got to get the big picture first, right? So let's zoom out and dive into the major trends that are shaping the AI landscape for 2025.
Okay, so the AI revolution, it really starts from the ground up. I mean, literally. As Amin Vadat points out, the sheer demand from AI is forcing a complete and total rebuild of computing's foundations. We're talking custom chips, liquid-cooled data centers. The very hardware of our world is being transformed as we speak.
So where is all this incredible new power actually being pointed? Well, David Friedberg identifies the key battlegrounds. First, you've got media with on-the-fly content generation, then SaaS, that's software as a service, where entire business models are just being completely upended. And maybe most incredibly, biology, where AI is designing brand new drugs and even more resilient crops.
And what's this all going to feel like in our day-to-day lives? Well, Jia Li paints this picture of a future where AI agents aren't just tools, they're our partners. Our interactions with technology are going to shift away from clicks and typing and more towards just natural, human-like conversation. But here is the big debate, the one everyone is having. How fast is this all really going to happen? On one side, you have the optimists. They believe the race is on right now, and speed is everything. But on the other side, you've got pragmatists like Jennifer Lee and Dylan Fox, and they're kind of pumping the brakes. They're warning that real, deep enterprise adoption takes time. There are a lot of messy, last-mile problems that have to be solved first.
Okay, so that's the landscape. Now for the really practical challenge. How do you actually build a winning product in this environment? It's all about turning that raw tech into something people can't live without.
You absolutely cannot build a serious AI product today without understanding this term, RAG. At its core, it's like giving a large language model, the brain behind the AI, a library card. So instead of just relying on whatever it was trained on, RAG lets the model look up fresh, external, up-to-date information. And that is absolutely crucial for cutting down on errors and giving you answers you can actually trust.
Yeah, building a real product is no longer about just wrapping a nice interface around an API. Yoav Shoham has this great name for the old method, prompt and pray. To build for serious enterprise customers, you need a way more sophisticated system, one that combines multiple models, tools, and data sources to get reliable results every single time.
And this brings us to what Dow Aquila is calling RAG 2.0, which makes this whole process way, way smarter. The AI actively figures out what info it needs and where to find it. It can combine data from all sorts of sources, it learns which ones to trust more than others, and it's actually trained to stick to the facts it finds. This is how we get to truly dependable AI. So let's boil all that down. Here are the core principles for building a great AI product. First, focus on what the tech can actually do well, right now. Second, you have to know how you're going to measure success from day one. Third, never forget that high-quality data is your most valuable asset. And finally, find your competitive edge by obsessing over those little last-mile details that make a product feel truly seamless. All right, let's switch gears from product to profit. Because let's be real, having the coolest tech in the world means absolutely nothing if you don't have a sustainable business model to back it up.
David Friedberg's warning here is so blunt, but so true. An LLM wrapper, which is basically just a thin layer on top of somebody else's model, is not a real business. If you want to build something that lasts, something defensible, you need a deeper moat, like your own proprietary data, a unique workflow, or a really strong network effect.
And a huge piece of that business model is pricing. Apoorv Agrawal advises everyone to think beyond just the standard per-seat license. If your product's value is really tied to how much it's used, then maybe you should consider usage-based pricing. Or if you can actually prove a direct return on investment, you could even charge based on a share of the value you create. The key is to make sure your price is aligned with the value you deliver. And as Jerry Chen from Greylock says, this isn't some afterthought. It's a core strategic weapon. A disruptive business model can be just as powerful as disruptive technology. Why? Because the big, incumbent companies are often locked into their old ways of selling, which gives a nimble little startup a massive advantage. You know, it's really time for a mindset shift here. As Arvind Jain urges, we have to stop seeing AI as just a way to improve efficiency or cut costs. The real prize, the grand slam, is using AI to grow revenue by creating products and services that were literally never possible before, opening up entirely new markets.
Okay, we've covered the landscape, the product, and the business, so let's bring it all home. Let's put it together into a final checklist, some actionable advice for all you founders out there who are ready to build.
All right, here it is, your rapid-fire checklist. 1. Move fast. The market is happening right now. 2. Don't try to boil the ocean. Solve a very specific niche problem better than anyone else on the planet. 3. Document your processes so you can scale efficiently. 4. Build your tech stack to be model agnostic. That way you can always use the best tool for the job. And 5, this is the golden rule. Don't fall in love with AI. Fall in love with the problem that AI can solve.
And finally, I want to leave you with this piece of sobering reality from Crystal Huang. In a world where new AI tools are popping up every single day, getting a customer is one thing. Keeping them is something else entirely. The ultimate goal isn't just to be useful, it's to become indispensable. To weave your product so deeply into your users' workflow that they literally can't imagine their life without it. That's true stickiness.
So we've heard from the experts, we've mapped out the terrain for 2025. The technology is here, the opportunities are absolutely massive, and the playbook, well, it's getting clearer every single day. The only question left is the one right here on the screen. What will you build?